Thank you, Shekhar, for those very warm words. I think we are all in sync over here with Mr. Atreya, Dr. Atreya and Shekhar. And we have to get together and speak to the Ministry of the Home Ministry and request Padma, the Bharat Ratna for Guruji next year. Now I would request Guruji to say a few words.
I do not know what to say when Shekhar, with humorous way, brought education to all of you in a different way. But I do not belong to that club. But it's worth saying something. Even yoga also, though it's a very dry philosophical subject, I start with a humorous approach. When I went to England in 1954, the people were very, very rich. They were knowing only three things: wealth, wine, and women. 1950s. So they used to smoke hours together, wasting money. And when they came to my classes, they were smoking in my presence. They were drinking in my presence, and they used to ask me, "Do you drink?" I said, "No." "Do you smoke?" I do smoke, but I take only what we call pranayama, fresh air smoking, not artificial smoking. These jokes, I have done it also. So to convert them, to transform them towards yoga, I used to tell them, "My friend, you have no lungs. What is it for smoking and burning your lungs? Do yoga, develop your life, then smoke." So I ran to the current of the local people to introduce yoga at that time. People may be laughing at that time that yoga is such a subject that this man is speaking. Drink. But drink, I used to say drink, but then you have got that is the trick. Smoke, if your lungs do not affect at all. So this way I went on introducing yoga. And in 1977, Kushwan Singh came to my institute. At that time, from 4-5 continents, people had come for special classes. So he looked at some of the Westerners. First thing he said, "I think I should have taken yoga, not the editor of India Illustrated Weekly. What beautiful girls you have! And what is the use of my life? I love women, but I will not lead me anywhere." So I was telling him that in southern Africa, in Lesotho, there was an international yoga convention, and I was invited. I also gave lecture demonstration, and lots of Japanese people were also there at that time. So Swami Venkateshananda, who was the chief guest on that day. So when I about to talk, he introduced me. Mr. Iyengar's yoga is a cosmetic yoga, because he knew that lots of ladies were undergoing training. So humorous side and the thing. So when I started teaching, my friends, because Venkateshananda also was my student, not that he was an outsider. I was teaching him for lots of physical problems. So I told Venkateshananda, "Sir, you are right." I said, "I give natural cosmetics to transform them to cosmic light." So he was shocked. He never knew that I would give such words. And as Kushwan Singh said, what a pity. If I had taken yoga, I would have had wonderful girls around me. And in 1997, he wrote an article, Yoga, Gaga Yoga. That means it is attracting the people so much. He wrote a very good article. And today he had seen these youngsters. I do not know what we have said. So, my practice of yoga is no doubt from cosmetic yoga, natural cosmetic, because I devoted my time to build up quality in blood, quality in breath. So I started giving them, and when they started getting their life and drinking, smoking, no effect at all, then I started teaching them into the philosophical life. It took me nearly 15 years to speak on philosophy and the field of yoga in the Western countries. And when I went to England, first thing they asked me, how many notes you have followed? In 1954. When I went to America, the same problem. You are a black man, you cannot go first. Because I was very fast. They said you have to wait, all the whites have to go before you go. So I had to get outside the airport. So I faced all these problems. Then I started becoming little aggressive because they used to call me, you are all our slaves. So what can you control? So I went on slowly building up, and they started calling me, my name is BKS initials. So they used to say, BKS stands for beating, kicking and shouting. Because my language started changing slowly. So in my heart of heart, I said, I will be a slave driver to be slave drivers. But I never said it more like that. So I started building up, and the same BKS, the Westerners now say, stands for beauty, knowledge and serenity. So you can see how the transformation took place. There in 1930s, when I started practicing and teaching, I'm practicing since 80 years. I do some abnormal things even now, but normal things I find it difficult. You know, climbing up the steps down and all. But I do Shirshasana for half an hour even now. I do practice. Recently I did Mayurasana also for the people who wanted to do. I show. So abnormal things still I do because I was abnormal in childhood. So normal things I'm finding it. So I'm very, very happy that when I came and inaugurated this institute, there were only about 6 or 8 people, not more than that. And just Aditya said, it's not catching, yoga is not catching in India. You can see how it is catching in India. I was not a pessimist. I'm teaching yoga since 1936. So even up to 1950, yoga was not at all popular. I had to struggle and struggle. That I will tell you a little more later. Then I said, what have I to do to make this yoga to become popular? So I was teaching old people who are above 60 in the early days, 1930s. Then in 1950s came to 60, 1940s it came to 50, 60, came to 30, 40. Now you will find in my institute 250 children aged 7 practicing on Saturday. Not one child says, I am not keeping well. The parents say, the child is not well, we say, don't go to the class. They say, no, we don't miss the hangers. We go to this class. So, how the transformation has taken place. Today, the younger blood has taken to yoga for the simple reason, we speak of DNA. To be frank with you all, I am teaching since 1936, and today in my institute, I've got generation students. That's why you will find people anger, you can't get room at all. I can't throw them out. So this is the problem. Place is small, but numbers are more. They come and ask, we want to learn, we want to learn, we want to learn. So I gave the quality in the field of yoga, which has attracted lots of people to come to yoga. So that means I changed, gave the cosmetics in the beginning for the yogic students, attracted them to yoga, then from making them to attract, then I said how to get yourself distracted from the attachments. So that's how I built up yoga. And most important is, in yogic aspect, there are two sides. One is conceptive subject, another is perceptive subject. Dhyana, when we speak of dhyana, the man may be sleeping, they may be conducting classes, but they say, I conducted dhyana class. But that person who is participating, was he really totally attentive, totally aware? That nobody says. So I knew that's a conceptual subject. It's a very difficult subject for average people to catch this. Then I thought, what is more important? As he quoted you, Chedyamadhyam Kalu Dharma Sadhana, Aragyam Moolam Uttamam. So all these top gross words attracted me in the beginning. I said, I was suffering from tuberculosis, I was suffering from malaria, I was suffering from influenza for years, and I was a parasitic life, like her. And from that parasitic life, is it worth living? I have given determined to commit suicide once or twice. I said, not worth living. But somehow or other, what he said about karma, that comes karma. My own brother-in-law, my sister's husband, who was the guru to the Maharaja of Mysore at that time, never thought of giving me help, though he is my sister's husband. It so happened, that is a destiny place. He said, I have to go to Bombay, you have got a holiday, so can you go and help your sister in 1934? I said, whether I stay in Bangalore, Mysore, I got to see at least Mysore, there are palaces, so let me go. Then when I went to Mysore, holiday, he came after the yogic tour. Then I told him, as you have come, sir, may I go? He said, no, why don't you stay here and learn? I will teach you some asana, so that you gain help. And that's how the seed of yoga fell into my body in 1934. And 1943 or 44, I realized the real help. I never had help at all. I was an anti-yoga teacher, because I was a teacher. Look, people who were looking at me, if you do yoga, you will be like that. Only you can count lips as you count lips in this chest. But I had one determination that these strong people, because Pune at that time was very famous for athletics, sports, and Matkam and wrestling. Pune was very, very famous. Even to be honest, I had given demonstration before Gama, Imam Baksh, all these people, they were looking at me, and when because they were coming to Pune to give, for ball, for wrestling, and the wrestling was supposed to take 1 million. So the people who had paid money for the ticket, they were all shouting. So the second people said, Mr. Iyengar, please give demonstration. So they all thought, I am also a party of Gama and Vietnam, and I gave a demonstration for about half an hour and made the people to become quiet. That's how I said, then I thought, perceptual yoga is the one which can attract people. So perceptual yoga is only asana and pranayama. The rest are all not perceptual but conceptual. Therefore, I determined that if I have to revolutionize this subject, I have to make the known to be completely known, not to speak of the unknown. As the teacher of you. So I was also like that. Never speak on philosophy. You just tell them, if one leg is straight, the other leg is crooked, you don't know what is it, the straight leg, what is crooked leg. So make your crooked leg straight as the other leg. So this way I went on. That's why people call me, I am a physical yogi, it does not matter to me. Because body is the prop of the soul. So as the body being the prop of the soul, I said I should keep it in a trim condition. So I started learning, then learned the methodology of bringing each and every tissue, every part of the muscle to be in par with the other side. In the very right leg, if the inner muscle is working, if the outer muscle is not working, I say it's not yoga. So what am I to do? So this way, Krishna and Aklishta which you heard just now. So I took this cognizable part, not painful only, cognizable part of the body and went on devoting my time on that cognizable part and brought that cognizable part where life started bathing and I started changing the position. I said life is moving, something new. So this started making me to rethink, think and rethink, learn and relearn, unlearn what I have learned so that I can relearn. This way I brought precision in the subject which has attracted all over the country. I think I can tell you proudly that I have got yoga centers in 77 nations. And there are so many Ayurveda yoga associations all over the world and yoga institutions all over the world. So how it spread, I do not know. But the awareness, the attentive awareness, I am not speaking about only attentiveness or the awareness, but I said you should be attentive and you should be aware of that attention in your sadhana. So from that I built up and gave them the power of concentration without using the word what is concentration. They realized that this is concentration, this is reflection. I said this is finished meditation. So this way I made yoga to become popular all over the world. And one good thing is, at that time, nobody were using yoga as a healing subject. As I started learning, at that time there were a good number of doctors, civil surgeons who were settled in Pune. And they were coming to my classes. They said, Mr. Iyengar, why don't you guide these people? For example, we spoke about Tendulkar. His leg was amputated about 3 years ago. And I taught him 3-4 asanas, do this and practice 1 month and then you ask your doctor surgeon in London whether you should operate. He said, no, you cannot postpone, you have to come. So he went and when he saw him, he said, surgery is not needed. So to be honest with you, on that basis, I was asked by the BCCI to write a book on yoga for cricketers. And they kept on their seat for several years and they released the book about 2 years ago saying, Mr. Iyengar, if somebody is interested, give this book to them, but only give us 100 complimentary copies. So West Side publishers in Chennai have taken the book, my latest book, though I have written books on philosophy up to now. The latest book will be Yoga for Sports Persons. Because I have taught wrestlers, I have taught cricketers, I have taught Olympic runners, and I have learned lots of things by helping these students. How I should develop the springy action in my ankling. So which asanas guide me? So all my pupils who came to me, all my real teachers from whom I observed what they do, how they do, and went on improving on my own. And I started giving the same knowledge which I copied from them back to them. Friends, I love you all for the simple reason that you love your spirit. You love your existence. So existence is just an energy. And that energy we call it prana. Therefore, yoga generates energy, organizes energy, and removes or destroys the vicious energy which creates diseases in all of us. So yoga is God. Generative power is there, organizing power is there, destructive power is there. Therefore, I am happy that all of you, for one reason or the other, you have taken to yoga. Most probably, many of you had lot of problems to come to yoga. I don't think 1% in the world have come to yoga to learn yoga for the sake of yoga. They have all come for something, and they have stuck to that. As I said, 5 generations of students are coming to. So therefore, my request is all of you, when you have one motive, for which motive you have come, when that motive has been solved, do not generate another motive. That is ambition, destructive ambition. But keep your mind open and say that I practice the frame of mind for something. Now I keep the mind free from the frame and see what it gives to me rather than what I should take from it. Then I am sure you all become what I say, lively people in this world, lovely and lively people of the world. God bless you.
Thank you, Guruji, for sharing your memories and, as usual, for your pearls of wisdom.